Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Dagan McDowell, Harold Ford Jr., Martha McCallum, and Greg Gutfeld. There he is. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. President Biden caught getting his hands dirty with some serious midterm election interference. So where's the media and the Democrat outrage? The Saudis are exposing the administration's attempt to coerce their country to postpone oil cuts until after the midterms in an effort to keep gas prices down. Now, I'm no historian, but didn't someone else get impeached for that? Now, after the Saudis stood Joe up, despite his embarrassing courtship, the president's vowing to reassess our relationship with the oil-rich nation. Looks like Joe was wrong when he said nobody messes with a Biden.
We find ourselves in a position as beggars. The most powerful country in the world is now in a position of having to beg these third-rate countries.
So the Democrats will do anything to try to keep gas from increasing before the election. He's going hand in hand to dictatorships like Venezuela, pleading with them to produce more oil, at the same time that he's alienating longtime partners in places like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates.
If you think the president's done reassuring the Saudis to help him in November, stay tuned.
What's your message to Saudi Arabia about this?
We're about to talk to you.
We're about to talk to
We're about to talk to them.
In what way, sir?
What are you going to
Stay tuned.
What are you going to
But it doesn't stop there. Biden straight up lying to the American people and telling them that he's making skyrocketing inflation better. Joe even resorting to making this absurd claim about Republicans in an attempt to sway the midterm vote.
We've got an election in the month. Voters have to decide. Democrats are working to bring down the cost of things and to talk about around the kitchen table. Republicans are campaigning every day on an agenda to raise your costs. Republican wins, inflation is going to get worse. It's that simple.
Martha, are you seeing any similarities with what Biden is doing with the Saudis and Trump was accused of doing with Ukraine?
Yeah, I find it remarkable that there's not more attention to this story, to the fact that he essentially, according to these reports, tried to make a deal with them. If you can just push this off until after the election, I don't want to see this cut. It's not going to be helpful to me. And it gets almost no coverage at all. The thing that really strikes me is that, Saudi Arabia obviously is a complicated player. Very complicated player. It's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation. But the problem is that they have helped us against Iran. So you can't blame Saudi Arabia for not doing what President Biden wants them to do, because he's sitting down at the table with Iran, who is their arch enemy. And they have been fighting through the Houthis for years. So this is not an area where his diplomacy, it's failed miserably. The last time we went begging to Saudi Arabia and OPEC to produce more oil was in the 70s under Jimmy Carter. So this is a very, very bad look. And when he does the thing he just did where he's like, just wait.
Yeah, Mr. Tough Guy.
Just stay tuned. And it's like you just can see the wheels turning and you're thinking, is there a plan here? I mean, I'm not seeing it, but I guess he's got a grand plan that he's going to carry.
Someone's going to tell Joe what the plan is. That's
shortly.
What the deal is.
Stay tuned.
Greg?
Yeah. Where was he talking? What were those things behind him?
Mattresses.
Was that Hunter's bedroom? Anyway, he has extras. Like, you don't have to do that, Martha. So it's funny.
I thought maybe it needed it.
Oh, jeez. Wow, it's Friday. You're so mean to me. Remember how the media freaked out over Trump alienating about the fear that Trump would alienate our allies, especially like when he told Germany not to rely on Russian oil. Do you remember that? Now Joe's using military sanctions against what I would call an ally, just to adjust their timing so they can help the Dems, in the midterms. So it turns out that Trump is a psychic and Joe is a psycho. And whenever the Dems accuse you of something, it's because they were already thinking of doing it, and he should be impeached over this, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Yes. Here's the huge difference, though. The Trump impeachment had the full backing of the legacy corporate media. A Biden impeachment won't. So if you bring it up, everybody's just going to laugh at you. Nobody's going to be pulling their hair out over this, because this is now team sports. And Republicans really don't like exploiting processes for darkness. They like the process, even if the goal turns out, even if they lose, they still like the process. Democrats are like, no, we work for the goal, so we will exploit the process. We will impeach the crap out of you. Whereas Republicans look at it and go, maybe this should only be used when it matters. So the Republicans probably will not impeach Joe Biden, which is, I guess that's just the way it is.
We'll just impeach him for something else.
Yes.
Not this. He is inviting election interference. He is exploiting the country's national security. He's putting them in danger by not selling them weapons just for a political win. It's exactly the same thing they accuse Trump of.
Yes, and they won't impeach Biden because they're afraid of, Kamala Harris being the president of the United States. What if he couldn't, emotionally handle the impeachment process and it wound up being, I'm not even going to say it out loud, but Kamala Harris being the commander-in-chief. Would you say tough guy? I'm neither tough nor a guy, but I do know how one would act. And it's not this weakling, addled, almost octogenarian who's nincompooping all over the United States. You go to Saudi Arabia and say, rather than saying, please do me a favor, please don't cut your oil production, you say, I'm going to do you a favor, Jesse. You be Saudi Arabia.
All right, I'll be Saudi Arabia.
I'm going to do you a favor.
Permission to be Saudi Arabia?
Permission granted.
You're not going to cut your oil production, you see? And I won't open our spigots wide open and start pumping all that delicious natural resources and just flooding the world with natural gas and oil. See, I will do that. You're going to do that, and this is the favor I'm going to do you, because we, the United States, could destroy the economy of Saudi Arabia 4 years ago. We were a net exporter of petroleum products. First time since 1949. We were the swing producer in the world. We controlled world oil prices because we had the most excess production capacity. Joe Biden could do that, but he won't, because he's obviously both a masochist because he likes taking it from Saudi Arabia, and also a sadist because he likes inflicting pain on the people of the United States.
Enough about Hunter Biden. So
he got it from somewhere. Maybe it was Daddy.
Dagan is saying he's a terrible negotiator. Would you agree on that point?
No, I think I think at times we all wish he would negotiate a little bit better or might be more transparent. But I'll say this: I don't think there's an equivalency between this and what President Trump. Remember, President Trump with the Ukrainian Congress had passed money for defense operations or for defense assistance to Ukraine, and the president accordingly said to the Ukrainian president, I won't release the money that Congress has already passed. Congress is the appropriator. So there's a difference here. These kind of negotiations with countries go on all the time. Now, with regard to saying, look, I want you to do this before the election, remember, this is impacting the world. Inflation is rampant around the globe. Gas prices and energy prices are up all around the globe. What I think is a better line of attack for Republicans, and I think a more honest one, is we should just be producing more oil here. We should not find ourselves having to be dependent on, I don't care if it's a friendly ally outside the United States when it comes to protecting our own national security and our own energy security. So I hope we produce more oil, we produce more natural gas. We do all the things that we talk around this table in terms of all of the above, all of the above
But it's your
strategy.
side that's holding that up.
Well,
it's on you, Harold. It's your fault.
Personally.
So I think,
And that's what I was getting at, too.
I think that's a better argument, and I do think that Democrats, we are vulnerable on at front there. We have to produce more energy products here, not because we are against climate change or not because we're not for a green energy platform, but because we're for America and we're for our own national security. And we're seeing now we're at a proxy war for one reason: energy.
But why President Biden is not for America in that way?
Well, he's totally for America. He may differ.
He's begging to Saudi Arabia and potentially to Venezuela rather than doing what Dagan has just said, turning on the incredible natural resource that we have here that made us energy independent in 2019, 2020, growing pipelines.
But we can do that next week. I don't have any issue with any president saying, look, we have to figure out our short-term issues. We cannot afford $5 and $6 gasoline between now and next February. We're going into the winter months.
He's hurting his own people.
We're saying the same thing. It's just a sequencing and timing issue. We can't. It's not a spigot you turn on and we're going to all of a sudden produce 3 million gallons. I mean, 3 million.
But you know what is a spigot? The minute you say you're going to do it, oil prices start to drop. The minute you say it, because that's what happened under Trump.
And it's been 2 years.
I think we should do that. I'm not sure. I think we should do that.
We would not be in this mess if it wasn't for Joe Biden in 2014 helping to arrange a coup in the Ukraine.
Wow.
We should say this: under Obama and Biden, we produced more domestic energy products under them. They didn't have the right posture about it, but the facts are what they are.
Okay.
Who got to Joe Biden then?
We'll leave it at that. Harold. Coming up, oh boy, AOC being called a liar and getting heckled by some former supporters. Find out what set him off next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.